in me.
Okay. Hey, everybody! It is 4 o'clock. It is Blend Talk time. And I am Dr. Jewel Diamond Taylor, one of the lovely co hosts. And we're so excited that you're here with us to meet the co host, to meet the producer. Our theme for season 2 is COVID-19, from darkness to light. We know there is light at the end of the tunnel. This has been unprecedented time, an interesting time, a mysterious time, a painful time, an unpredictable time. And we have been on this corona coaster. And what we're going to do for our viewers is to help us to navigate and focus on how we can heal mind, body, and spirit. We are so excited that we are launching today, that you're going to be introduced to our co-host, to our executive producer, so that you can begin to tell your community, because you're an influencer. Tell them about the Blend Talk is back on the scene, or should I say, black on the scene, because we are unapologetically going to talk about how this COVID-19 is impacting Black women. And if it's impacting Black women, it's impacting families. And if it's impacting families, it's impacting communities. And so we're going to talk about solutions and strategies and healing. We're going to hear testimonies. We're going to have real talk about solutions, not just, sugarcoating it or being superficial. We're going to go deep. We're going to have deep dives, courageous conversations every week. And so I'm so honored to have you see my co-host, see my executive producer. I am Dr. Jewel Diamond Taylor. I am a motivational speaker. I'm an author. I'm a life coach. I'm a counselor. I'm the founder of Women on the Grow. I have my own ministry. And I am a mother, a wife of 50 years. Oh, I know it don't look like it. Black don't crack. And I am the grandmother of the most amazing grandchild named Cody. So, ladies, please, my sisters, Dr. Karen and Dr. Lisa, tell everybody who you are.
Hi, I'm Dr. Karen McGibbon. People call me Dr. K. Jewel, a while ago when you were introducing yourself, I heard you say my lovely co-hosts and how lovely you are. And I am thrilled to be one of the co-hosts here tonight. I am a psychotherapist, life coach. I'm also a clinical counseling professor, an author. I'm happily married to Frank, and I am the pleased and blessed mother of 2 adult children. And I'm just thrilled to be able to be co-hosting here with you ladies.
And I love your accent, my sister, my girlie. I love it. This is so interesting that we're doing this virtual thing. And so we're going to be asking our viewers, just be flexible with us, flow with us, because we're going to work through all the little glitches. But my sister, Karen, is coming in live from Jamaica. So
From Jamaica, man.
we got some international flavor going on. And our dear sister, Lisa. How you doing, honey?
Hello, hello, hello. My name is Dr. Lisa Lewis, and I'm a naturopathic doctor, acupuncturist. Now, most people say, what's a naturopath? Like, what is a naturopathic doctor? That term is so unknown, but guess what? We're going to learn so much about holistic medicine, about all the alternatives, which again, I don't call them alternatives. I think they should be first line. But right now the world is calling them alternative therapy. So we'll take that, right, for the moment. But it's all about supporting and helping people understand how they can heal from the inside out using what's already here, using
Yes.
herbs, using nutrition, using homeopathy, using water as therapy. Like, food is medicine. And I support people in changing their lifestyles so
Mm-hmm.
that we can, I say, we transform disease to delight. So we take chronic disease and we help move that out of the body so that you can live a healthy, vibrant life. And
I
it's
love
not
that the
hard. It's
conversation
just
is
something we do.
broadening. I love
Yes.
that the
Mm-hmm.
conversation is broadening beyond just the traditional, that we are going to
Yeah.
be exploring other options. We're going to be educating,
Yes.
empowering,
Mm-hmm.
we're going to be transforming and informing. And it's all because of a woman who is a visionary, who is passionate about our community getting empowered on how we're going to deal with COVID-19 from darkness to light. And it's
Mm-hmm.
because of her vision, it's because of her commitment, it's because of her love for our people that she has brought us together. And I want everybody to welcome our amazing executive producer, Lavonda Rouse. Hi, my sister.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
It is so good to be here with you all. I can honestly say that.
Yes.
I mean, like it is truly like a true breath of fresh air. And so, I really truly thank God that we're able to bring this type of talk show. I like to call it a three-dimensional conversation because it
Mm-hmm.
is the conversation that we have about being whole. It is a conversation that we have about the real us.
Ah,
And the real person of us is that we are a spiritual being. And one of the
Mm-hmm.
one things that I wanted to do is I wanted to take that word back and take it out of the spooky and bring it into the practical so people will realize, hey, you know what? There's a whole part of me that I've kind of not really developed. But once
Mm-hmm.
I understand what it is, I can see how they need to work in tandem, in sync, how they need to blend. And so that's really, Jewel, my passion. And it doesn't mean that you're perfect. It just means that you're on a journey to wellness, a
Mm-hmm.
journey to wholeness. And so that is what the blend talk is all about. That's my passion. I believe it and I will stand by it until the day I take my last breath.
well, Lavonda, I'm so grateful that you had me in season one. I still have my blend
And
t-shirt.
oh,
Yeah. And what you are showing the world is how to positively pivot in the pandemic. Okay, so in season one, we were in the studio. So now
right.
we are pivoting and we're saying we're not going to stop the message. We're not going to stop the flow. We're going to
Come on.
positively pivot and we're going to do
Mhm,
this virtual experience until the
mhm,
curve is flattened because we
Mm-hmm.
want to
mhm,
inform our people. We have some exciting guests in season uh,
mhm.
episode one, where we talked
Two.
about how do we navigate through the grief. So many people have lost loved ones. I know people, my co-hosts know people that have lost loved ones. People are dealing with
Mhm,
sorrow, depression, mental health issues, isolation. And I'm so glad, Lavonda, that you chose our first episode to focus on how do we deal with. We're not going to forget those that are dealing with grief. We're not going to
Mm-hmm.
forget those that are still holding their head down
mhm,
and scratching their head, and they couldn't go to funeral services, they couldn't have repasses, they can't hug. It does something to our spirit, it
right,
does something to our mind, it does something to our body
right.
when we're not able to
Yeah,
express our grief,
right.
our sorrow, our anger, our
Mm-hmm.
bewilderment. The body houses all of that. So I salute you, my sister, on saying we're
Mhm,
going to talk about the whole woman, mind, body, and spirit. And you have
Mm-hmm.
three
mhm.
experts together that we're going to talk about, the outer man, the middle man. We're going to talk about the whole woman. And my sisters, what is it that you are anticipating that's going to happen in this new season? What are you anticipating?
Well, I have to first add to what you're saying, Joel, and even what Lavonda shared a while ago, just to say when I'm working with my clients, it's
Uh-huh.
so hard to separate what they're struggling with mentally from what they're going through
Mhm.
spiritually or physically. I mean, how do you
Right.
separate them?
You can't.
And so when I heard the vision, when Lavonda shared her vision with me, I'm sure she remembers. I just got so excited. I just knew that if it was possible for me to be a part of that seemed like this is the thing that was missing all along. We were here trying to help people, or other people trying to help people in one way, but
Mhm.
leaving out the rest. I say this, it's about time. If it took the pandemic for us to realize that we need to provide this type of an opportunity for people just to educate themselves on how to be well in a holistic way, then wow, I'm all for it. I mean, this is
Yes.
such an exciting time. This is, to me, a very hopeful time, because people are a lot more open now to what can they do to help themselves
Mhm.
to be better, to cope.
Mhm.
And we are here trying to say, hey, we understand what your needs are
Yes.
and we want to provide them. In
Mhm.
fact, tonight we're hoping that our live uh, members, audience members, will be telling us these are the things we want to hear about, because we want to bring them to you.
And we want our viewers to hit the share button right now. Hit that share button
Mhm.
and tell your community that the Blend Talk is on live right
Mm.
now, meeting
Yeah.
the co-hosts and meeting the executive producers. Dr. Lisa, I was thinking about how when my son passed away and I had episodes of vertigo, I had episodes of depression and high blood pressure. I went to the doctor one day and uh, they asked me questions, they weighed me, and then finally the doctor said, so what's going on? And as soon as the doctor said what's going on, I just broke down because I knew it wasn't something physical. It
Mhm.
was the fact that no one had been talking to me about the grief. It's just they just wanted to look at the body, how much do you weigh? What's your blood pressure? Like, wait a minute, have you asked me about my life? Have you asked me
Mhm.
about any changes in my life? And I think people like you, Dr. Lisa, can help our viewers understand that we have to go deeper when it comes to our physical health. It's not just the
Yeah,
body. It's just,
yeah,
please talk about that, Dr.
yeah. I
Lisa.
mean, so here's the thing. Most people, when we're talking about healing and moving through a healing process, we cannot, and as we've been talking about this, we cannot separate the mind, the body, and the spirit. It's all wrapped in one.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the challenges is that understanding the depth and the breadth of natural medicine and holistic medicine understands that you cannot heal physically unless you address the mind, unless you address the spirit. And when we talk about like obstacles to cure, and we talk about where 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 the center of gravity of a case is, we can tell from our initial consult, which is not 5 minutes, by the way. Okay, right? It's got to be like you got to know a person,
Yeah,
so
you just
Yeah.
in and
at least an hour, right?
Mm.
And so as we talk about that, we go into depth and we say, what's the center of gravity of this case? Is it a physical, purely physical? Is it an emotional? Or is it a spiritual? And then from there, we start doing our work. And
Mhm.
that's why I love it so much because, like Dr. Karen was saying, we get to the depth, to the
yes.
breadth of what the problems are. And
Mhm.
sometimes it just is not physical. Sometimes
Mhm.
it has a center and a
Mhm.
space in
Mhm.
another place. And
Mhm.
in this show, we're gonna have the opportunity to address all of these different challenges, all the different conditions from multiple ways and all the
Mhm.
ways that we need healing. And so I again I'm excited because I never get a chance to talk about this stuff. I never get a chance
Because
to
when
just
you talk
it's
about healing,
fun.
especially for the Black, when you think about healing for the African American community, there's always a backstory:
Mhm.
Mhm.
racism,
Yeah,
Mhm. Mhm.
broken families,
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
dysfunction,
Mhm.
addiction,
Mhm.
depression,
yeah,
abandonment, rejection, and especially racism, because a lot of the issues that we have are generational.
yes.
And when we explore those,
Mhm.
when we talk about these things
Mm-hmm.
on our show and help our community, our sisters to understand, it didn't start with you, but we
Mhm.
can start with
Right.
you to say, let's have these courageous conversations
Mhm.
And I know the conversations that our producer has lined up for us is going to pull back the curtain and expose some things about the real statistics, the alarming statistics of our people dying, of our people being disrespected, of our people not having access to resources, of our people falling off the grid. I just had a family member that's having some issues, and loved ones went to check on her and they found out she wasn't getting any attention. Her food was stacking up. Nobody was letting us know she wasn't being fed. You know, those kind of things don't happen when you have compassionate servants, when you are informed and you have a voice. So Lavonda, I think that this is my thinking, Lavonda, is that you want to give our community a voice. You want to empower them to speak up. You want to empower them to ask questions. You want to empower them to break generational patterns. You want to empower them to know that they can ask, that they can seek, that they can knock. I believe that what you want us to do is to understand that we're not going to let the pandemic crush our faith, steal our faith, lock down our mind, or cause our body to be disabled. Hallelujah. This is what I'm excited about, because this is the drum beat that I have been beating for years. Let's talk about the whole woman. Am I resonating with you, Lavonda? Is that your vision?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, in one of our episodes this season, we literally focus on the inequities and the disparities of the healthcare system. And of course, we can only talk about so much. So we're not, we're not covering the whole gamut. We're just saying, listen, these inequities are affecting us spiritually. They're affecting us psychologically. There's messing with us, with our body. I happen to believe this: the spirit influencing the mind, the will, the intellect, and then whatever's going on there, it's manifested in the body. So when any one of those are off, it's out of sync. It's not in tandem with the whole you. So the show, what we want to do, and I hate even calling it a show, because we're not trying to show people, entertain people, but there is entertainment involved because of the personalities. But we're really trying to let people know that, be whole, and you can enjoy the journey of being whole, and that it doesn't have to be something arduous. We can really look into our past, meaning our past pathologies, those pathologies that run in our families. Dr. Lisa talk further about this, but that epigenetics, and definitely Dr. Karen, those things that have been passed on traditionally that's manifesting, and I assume it's our DNA. We've got to deal with those kinds of things, because we've got to stop it in this generation. It has to be stopped. And this is how we use a talk show. We use a talk show like this to really help people. And the thing about it is, I don't believe that we're the only ones doing it. We're just doing our part. We're just a part of the big picture. And so that's what you guys will be doing on a weekly basis.
Yeah, we're taking advantage of this technology, that there is a silver lining during this pandemic, that we can pivot and we can innovate, and we can pivot with our businesses. We can pivot and change our thinking. We can pivot in having more hope and not living with despair. I love the conversations we're going to have about the effects of social media, the effects of us constantly experiencing violence and racism and hatred. What is that doing to our spirit? We're going to talk about those things. And so, Lavonda, I totally agree with you that we're not going to have all the solutions, but I believe that when you talk about these things, it's going to prick someone's mind. It's going to prick somebody's heart. And they may start doing some homework. They may start asking questions. They're going to share. They're going to hit the share button, and they're going to share with other people. They're going to have their pens out, and they're going to be taking notes. I know the women that follow me are note takers. I'm going to give a shout out to my women on the Grove. Love you, love you, love you. Thank you so much for following the Blend Talk. I love you, ladies. These ladies love to learn. They are curious. They are note takers, and we're inviting everyone to be with us next week for our first episode. This today is just to introduce you to the media personality, to introduce you to our executive producer. There may be somebody watching that has a vision too, and they're like, oh, well, I gotta wait till the pandemic. Oh, I don't know what to do. Oh, I don't like technology. Guess what? Seize the moment like LaVonda is doing. She's not waiting. She's got something burning in her soul. She wants a message to get out there. And I want somebody that's watching to be empowered and say, wait a minute, why am I sitting on my assets? Why am I procrastinating? Why am I waiting till everything is perfect? This virtual live thing today is not going to be perfect. There'll be glitches maybe, but that is not going to stop us. We're going to move forward from darkness to light. This is a time in history we have never seen before, and there are a lot of people that don't know what to do. There are a lot of people that are feeling disconnected. There are a lot of people that are isolated, working at home, raising their children, school learning, homeschool learning. There are people caregiving, and they need to have a program that is going to be uplifting and positive and transformative. And so I believe that we're going to be that resource for people to say, is there something good I can watch? Is there something good that can really pique my interest and open up my mind and stay woke? Because that's what we're going to do, is help you to stay woke. I see you shaking your head, Dr. Karen.
Yes, and Joel, you highlighted the educational aspect of this show. We're not trying to entertain. We hope that our viewers are entertained, but one of the things we will be asking our viewers to do is to take notes, is to take away something. We will be giving you something. All of us, we're here committed to sharing what we know and what we've learned with all of you, so that you can have that for yourself when this show is over, and you can apply it and you can feel like, wow, I am better now because of what I learned while watching this show.
And the beautiful thing about that is that, I mean, we want to have fun. We want to enjoy. Because listen, nobody wants to spend this pandemic time, right? feeling even more confined, right? We want to be able people to be able to open up and be able to enjoy themselves, but to learn at the same time. And let me tell you, the guests that we have this season, oh my God, my mouth just drops every time. Because their knowledge is so deep, and the information they're speaking is it's the stuff we hear when we're having girl chat and when we're talking around one another. But it's not stuff that we hear on TV. So this is the exciting piece about it, because we're going to have real conversations that girl talk, but it's deep and introspective. And I'm excited about it.
From an Afrocentric perspective, I love studying about the motherland. I got a chance to go to South Africa a couple of years ago. And one of the sayings that I learned that I integrated in the way I deal with people is they say, instead of always saying, I love you, sometimes we overuse the word I love you. They say, I see you. And when I think about the Blend Talk, it's like, we see you, viewers. We know you. We know you. All of us are you. And so we know that you are burdened with caregiving. We know that you're hoping for that PP check to come through. We know that you have lost loved ones before the pandemic, during the pandemic, and after the pandemic. We want to know, how do we deal with grief? We know that some of you are depressed and can't get out of the bed. We know some of you are like, can't wait to travel again. I know some of you have a business. You have mom and pop shops, and you're wondering about how to get access to funding. Maybe you had to close your business and you've lost your sense of identity. You're in a faith, in a God gap. Oh my God, I've been in God gaps. And when you're in a God gap, sometimes you question, God, where are you? And or you feel guilty, or you feel ashamed, and you don't want to talk about the setbacks that you have. So LaVonda's vision for us to talk about our spiritual health, our mental health, and our physical health is going to touch every single viewer. And if they're not there now, they will be in the future, because as LaVonda says, we are spiritual beings, but we're having a human experience. And in the human experience, The body is going to be challenged. The mind's going to be challenged. Your spiritual faith, how you're trusting the hope that you have, that will be challenged if you are exposing yourself to negative influences. If you're not reading, if you're not talking. And what I love about our show, the Blend Talk, is that we're going to be talking. We're going to be talking about the things that may seem a little uncomfortable, may trigger you, but I promise you, if you stick with us, you're going to say, oh my goodness, I didn't think of that. I can share that with my spouse, or I can share that with my friend, or I can share that with my church, or I can share that with my coworker. So the conversations are going to be courageous. We're not backing down. We're not going to just have a little superficial show. It's going to be about the real dilemmas that we as Black women are dealing with. And I think it's going to be a true blessing.
And Dr. Jewel, let me say this as well. Dr. Lisa touched on something that she said, others may not be, and I hope I'm not putting words in your mouth, but others may not be having this kind of conversation. I do believe that there are people that bring on, there are people that bring on psychologists, there are people that bring on people who deal with the physical aspect. But to have that at one time to deal with the whole you, that is really, truly what's missing. And that's something that I hope we will be able to inject in our society, that it is really just a common conversation. That is why I call it the Blend movement, because everybody should be talking like this. This has nothing to do with what church you go to, who your pastor is, who your bishop is. This has everything to do with how God created you. And he created us first as spiritual beings, as Dr. Jewel has said, having the human experience. So the Blend Talk is basically giving you that perspective. We deal with the issues of the day. We're not trying to avoid those issues. We talk about the lens of spirit, mind, body. So that's what really separates us from, I believe, from the rest.
Well, viewers, you are watching, if you just checked in, you're watching the Blend Talk launch, Meet the Co-Host. And the beautiful faces that you see are Dr. Lisa Wade, Dr. Lisa, Dr. Karen, and Lavonda Rouse, our executive producer, and I am Dr. Jewel Diamond Taylor, also known as the Self-Esteem Doctor. We are your co-hosts, and we are inviting you to hit the share button. We are encouraging you to put on your calendar to watch our first episode of season 2 next week at 4 p.m. Lavonda, the calendar's not right in front of me. So what's the date, Lavonda, for our episode?
Next May 5th.
May 1st?
May 5th. May 5th.
May 5th, everybody. Write it down. May 5th. We've already been in production. We can't wait for you to see it, to see our lineup of guests. Lavonda Rouse is our executive producer. Do we want to share who our guests are for the first episode, or do we want them to be surprised?
You know what? Yeah, let's keep them in suspense so that they can tune in. I mean, I think we've kind of, touched on some things, but let's keep them in suspense.
Well, I'm looking right now. We got a lot of comments. Go ahead. Yes. Michelle says, I'm always empowered when I hear you all. I'm ready for the new season.
Go ahead.
Yeah, somebody says, thank you. Thank you. Somebody says, I love it. I love it. You ladies are speaking the truth. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Carmen Bowen says Cinco de Mayo. That's easy to remember. That's when episode Cinco de Mayo. All right. Yes. I see my tribe. Hey, women on the grow. Love you, love you, love you. Thank you for showing up and showing out. They are here today. I see Diane. I see Teresa from Palmdale. Hey, you guys, let us know where you're checking in from. I see Valicia from North Carolina. Let us know where you are checking in from. Thank you, Melissa Clark. She says, you all look and sound wonderful.
Is that the doctor? Is that Dr. Melissa?
Hey, Dr. Melissa. We have another one, Sherelle.
Yes,
He's asking,
Sherelle.
is it 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time? So we
Okay.
probably have people from all different
Uh-huh.
Yes.
time zones. So let's clarify that for her, right?
Yes.
Um,
Absolutely. 4 o'clock
and then
Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern.
7 pop EST. That's right. So that's 7 EST. Perfect. It's yes EST. You see in the you
Uh-huh.
see in the chat, yes
Let's see.
EST.
Hey,
Yeah.
everybody, if you have a question, type in your question. If you have a question, let us know, okay? We got Natasha, Diane, Zalika. Ooh, the sisters are ticking in,
We got
Belinda.
some California people. I see these
I noticed
California
And
her.
people. Where the
Tracy
East Coast people at?
from
Where the East Coast
Palmdale,
people,
and
huh?
my sister Joy, my number one fan.
Hey, Joy. That's what I
Hey,
was about to say. Joy is truly,
she is
truly a
and
royalist.
you,
I love that.
and
We
you know,
got some
Toy's
Maryland.
right here with me. So between those two, they're always lifting up my arms.
Well, let's lift
Um,
it.
I
Hey,
got
Toy.
Shanta,
Toy's been with us from the
Diane.
beginning.
So lady Sandy, hey Sandy from Cerritos, and Lois from Rancho Cucamonga. Yay, Michelle Moore from Inglewood, LA
Oh,
area. Yeah,
yeah.
so
We
you've
got
a bear
Io from
reporter,
Maryland.
another tribe, sister friend. Ooh, they are showing out today. We
They're
got a
showing
Got
up
brother.
and
Maryland
showing
down
out.
here. That's right, Maryland.
Yeah,
Woohoo!
we got a brother on named Keith Clark. Said nice work. Diana from my tribe is on the line. I'm seeing all these hearts on my page. Yes,
Oh,
they're ready for us. They're ready for us. Keep on hitting those share buttons, everybody. Keep hitting those share buttons and let us know. We're here to serve you. And we would
mhm,
like each time that you tune in, watch us, leave your comments. It really makes a
mhm,
difference. Don't think that it doesn't. I promise
mhm,
you, when you hit the like button, when you make a comment,
mhm,
it does something with the logarithms. I don't understand it, but I know that it has great meaning and great force,
mhm,
and it edifies us to let us know that we are serving you and that you see us because we see you. We
mhm.
know you. And we
Mm,
understand the challenges that we all must go through. And we don't want you to think you have to do it alone. Okay,
mhm.
we are here as your sisters to say, we got you. We
Yeah,
understand. And,
yeah.
and and our producer she is so diligent in doing the homework. She is digging and she's finding people that I'm like, where are you finding all these people, Lavonda? Girl, you better go on now. I'm
Look
we're
at
gonna be
that.
meeting people that are on the cutting edge that bring forth facts
That's right.
and
Mhm,
science and
That's right.
faith and
mhm,
sisterhood and
mhm,
healing. See, that's the
mhm.
blend. That's the blend.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
Yes.
Yep.
those elements coming together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So many
So,
powerful women. So many powerful women. So many powerful people with powerful messages. And I'm excited to be able to just take it in. I know I'm a host, but I'm also a lifelong learner, right?
Right.
I'm a lifelong
Yes.
learner. So I'm so excited to just be able to ooze some of that knowledge and information, and I
Yes.
feel like we're seeding, like we're dropping the seeds, because yeah, it's an hour.
Mm.
We can't teach everything, but we can drop those nuggets and really support people in moving to the next level and to the next level. And so I'm excited to be able to just start seeding, right? And
Yes.
moving people into that next level of their healing. So
Yes.
this is
And
exciting.
I've really been drawn to just the experiential aspect of what we do here. It's we're not ladies who are reading our textbooks so we can come and regurgitate it in the
Right.
show. These are women. The women you're looking at are women who have lived, who have experienced, who have gained wisdom,
Mhm,
who help people as a part of their normal everyday life. This is not new. And
mhm.
I think our viewers will eventually see that. We're just doing what we always do, but we're doing it together.
yes.
And I have to say how much of a pleasure it has been getting to know my co hosts. Yes, we're just getting to know each other, but we clearly are into each other. And not to
Yes.
mention the producer, who is all the lightning, the passion, the vision, the mission. She keeps us moving forward. So I
Yes.
just can't say enough about just the blend of who we are together on this show.
And Lavonda, at this time of day, my husband is watching the news or some sports. He is watching the blend talk. So I gotta give a shout out to my husband.
But you know, your husband was. But, hello, Mr. Taylor. But he was faithful even season 1. So I thank
Yes, he
you.
was.
But
Yeah.
what something that I wanted to say. This virtual experience, that you know what, Jules set it up. It's challenging, but at the same time, it's so powerful because you know you can reach so many people. I mean, I don't know. Dr. Lisa worked with me on my first pilot of a show like this, and I told them, I said, listen, y'all, the internet is going to be the place to have your projects, your media projects. And I really want to talk about this because people are going to be like, well, where can we watch you and so forth? And we want to clarify that. And everybody wants to run to the broadcast networks. And don't get me wrong, that's a beautiful thing as well. But it's changing. Things are pivoting. And therefore, we have to move with that flow. And I'm so grateful that, you know, we have these outlets such as, you know, the what is it, Facebook and the others that allow us to be able to do that, because we can reach so many people that we would have never had the opportunity to reach because of these outlets. So I wanted to be clear that this virtual experience, although it can be challenging, it is truly, truly a blessing.
But isn't that how life is, Lavonda? Life is challenging.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we're demonstrating that we're not going to be perfect women, perfect wives, perfect mothers, perfect businesswomen. Life is challenging. So to me, we are demonstrating today that we're not going to wait till everything is perfect. We're going to do everything we can to bring to our viewers content and value and love. But we're showing them that we've got to pivot in this pandemic. We've got to show them that there is light at the end of the tunnel. We don't want you to give up. We don't want you to feel like that there is no hope. You know, I do a little sign language, and in sign language, when I'm doing my keynotes, I usually do it sign language to a song, or I'll choose a particular word that I want to focus on. And I love what hope is. It's like I'm expecting something. I'm expecting something. So I want people to expect the move of God. I want people to expect. I want people to expect miracles. I want those of you that are in a God gap to expect a breakthrough, not a breakdown. Expect that God will send angels and resources to you so that the light will come. Because everybody that knows Jewel Diamond Taylor knows that for 35 years, I never end a conversation or a phone call or video or YouTube without saying, stay in the light.
Yes.
Stay in the light. I know it gets dim. I know the numbers are alarming. I know we have been through so much as a people. I know that there's so many women burdened with family and school and job and paying the bills and caregiving. I know so many women that are taking care of their parents. I know so many women that are raising their grandchildren. I know so many women that are lonely. We know that it's a struggle for many. We know that we're not all in the same boat, but we want you to have hope. We want you to stay tuned and hear the stories and the testimonies. There have been people that have survived COVID. I know within my own circle, many women that let me know that they had the COVID-19. Yes, it was scary, but they survived. And we want to focus on that. There is light after darkness. That's how God set up the world. Every morning the sun comes up. Every morning. And when my grandson is with me, he'll wake up and he'll say, Grandma, the sun is up. And I'm like, this little boy is reminding me of the eternal consistency and love and divine order that the Creator created for us. That every morning the sun is going to come up. There may be some days the clouds hang low, but we will not complain. We've had good days. We've had bad days, but we won't complain. We all had it. And so our mandate is to connect the mind, the body, and the spirit so that we can navigate through this tunnel called the pandemic and know that there is hope. There is light. I'm feeling it already. When I go
Mm-hmm.
outside, I'm feeling it. And there's something about expectation that creates a frequency, that creates an environment, that creates a healing when you are expecting the light, when you are
Mm-hmm.
expecting the move of God, when you are expecting a breakthrough, when you are expecting a healing, when you're expecting that check in the mail, when you're expecting someone to say yes to you, when you're expecting that phone call that you've been waiting on. Don't give up. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
remember that your faith, your mental health, and your body are one.
Yeah.
Hmm.
This is such powerful stuff because
Yes.
I remember thinking about the Chinese character. We had in acupuncture we had to learn a little bit of Chinese medicine, Chinese characters, and feeding and understand the language. And in Chinese character for crisis has there's two characters, and
Mm-hmm.
one of them is like potential and growth. So out of crisis usually comes a blossoming or a shift and a change. And we know that this pandemic has taken people down, right? Oh, down in energy, down in mind, down in body. But the opportunities, we're going to be talking about the opportunities that have come through and from this experience. Not just the fact that COVID has ravaged us in many ways, but what has it opened up? What's the
Mm-hmm.
potential? Because there is all
Mm.
whenever there's a crisis, there's always a potential
Mm-hmm.
behind that. And
Yes.
so we tend to look at, we tend to go and look at what we've lost
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
instead of looking at what's waiting for us, what's showing up for us. And our guests especially, they're really showing us how their businesses have pivoted, how their lives have shifted and changed. So I'm just excited. Can you tell? I'm just excited, right? And everybody knows I talk with my hands and I move my head and I do all that kind of stuff because it's just in us. It's in us.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we're just ready to get it out into the world and to
Yes.
help you to express your greatest self, to
Yes.
understand who you really are when your body, when your mind, when your spirit is ravaged in some way, shape, or form. You can't rise to your potential. You can't
Mm-hmm.
you can't fulfill your purpose, and that's the key. Yolanda.
Oh, and I'm so glad that's my whole saying.
Yes,
I believe that when the spirit, mind, and body, or spirit, soul, and body are in alignment,
that's it.
then it will help you discover your purpose, the original
Mm-hmm.
intent of why God created you. And
Mm-hmm.
so, thank you, Dr. Lisa, for reminding
Yes.
us of that.
Well, this is called Meet the co-host of the Blend Talk Show, and somebody may have just tuned in. I want us to just identify ourselves once again, and I think people may be curious, like, well, where are they checking in from?
Mm.
I am Dr. Jewel Diamond Taylor, also known as the Self-Esteem Doctor. I am an inspirational keynote
Mhm.
speaker, a trainer, a life coach, a mentor. I am the founder of Women on the Grow. I am a wife to John for 50 years, yeah, 50 years. I'm a mother and I am the grandmother of Cody. I am coming to you from Southern California.
And
Mhm.
I'm Dr. Karen McGibbon. People call me Dr. K. They really like to do that. I'm a psychotherapist. I'm a life coach. I'm also a clinical counseling professor and author, wife and mother. And I am Jamaican. Can you tell? And
Oh,
I happen to be broadcasting from Jamaica.
Mhm.
all
Island
right
girl.
now. All right
But
now.
is that
See,
where you live? Is
the
that where
power
you
of
live, Dr.
technology.
Karen?
I live in Ohio and I'm visiting Jamaica at the moment, which is wonderful. Nice to have a place to come and visit that happens to be beautiful.
Mhm.
So, yes.
Mhm. Mhm.
Aviation now, yeah.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
this
And
is the
Dr.
power of
Lisa.
technology. The power we're like looking at the power of technology right now
Yes.
Ah,
because she's
Yes.
all the way around the world, right? But we're still here doing it. My name is Dr. Lisa. I'm a naturopathic doctor, holistic, functional medicine. You probably heard a bunch of terms, all meaning complementary and alternative medicine. I'm an acupuncturist. My goal is always to support people in being their best self, being their healthiest self, using mind, body, spirit medicine, balancing hormones, reducing stress, getting the gut health in order, and making sure you're eating healthy because food is medicine, right? And so
Mm.
that's really the basis for what we do in natural medicine. And I'm just excited to be able to offer this experience to the world. So great.
And what state do you reside in?
Oh, I'm a Jersey girl. So I'm in New
It's a
Jersey,
Jersey.
but
And
I've been
Levant.
in Maryland, DC. I've been in California practicing,
All right.
pretty much everywhere. But the virtual piece of the puzzle is wild because I've been virtual, doing this medicine since maybe 2009 virtually. So
Mm.
everybody doesn't have a naturopathic doctor in their backyard. So it's a beautiful way to be able to offer people the opportunity to their healing, but
Yeah.
do it from the comfort of their home. So it's really exciting.
Awesome. And our executive producer, Lavonda Rouse.
Well, I'm a native Californian, but right now I am in Arkansas. My mother lives in Benton, Arkansas, and I'm caring for her at this moment. I come home every 3 to 4 months, of course, because I've got things to handle, but definitely in another state, Arkansas. But I do want to mention my production company, which is called Collaborative Effort Entertainment.
Yeah.
And the reason I named Collaborative Effort Entertainment is because I honestly believe that it takes a collaborative effort to do anything. You cannot do it alone. Trust me, I've tried and it does not work. So it's awesome to have these women here together. They represent spirit, mind, body, and they work in tandem. I can honestly say that. I'm just, oh my God, when I think of these women working in tandem, immediately, it just really blows my mind. So that's me, Lavonda Rouse, California native, but in Arkansas.
All right. I love it. So you see, everybody, no excuses. Make it happen. Tune in each week,
Mm-hmm.
4 o'clock Pacific time,
Mm.
7 o'clock Eastern time, to the Blend Talk. Won't you share? Hit that share
Mhm.
button. It means so much. We're also going to be on YouTube. Is that right, Lavonda?
Yes, with it's Affirm TV. But let me shout out to Lynn, our
Okay.
director, Lynn
Yes.
Davis, who's been with us from the beginning. We got to give him a shout out. Lynn has, he goes through with us, but I tell you, the man is a faithful man. We totally appreciate all of his hard work and his dedication to the Blend Talk. We want to thank our publicist, Phyllis Cadell. We want to thank our social media person, Kalia Sanders Bright. We just want to thank God for all of these people that are helping us bring this to you. So I just wanted to do that shout out.
That's
And
wonderful.
yes, Affirm TV, YouTube.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
This is a huge
Hello?
movement. I can hear you. Yes,
I can
we
hear
can
you,
hear
Logan.
you.
But remember, it's affirmed. For
Okay.
everybody, it's affirmed with a D. So it's affirmed.
Oh,
D.
okay.
So that's right. So that one, I just wanted to make that clear. Yeah. We can
Yes.
maybe we can put it in the chat.
She's absolutely right.
Can they chat? Can they chat it? Can they put it out so people can know where to go? Maybe.
Yeah, we can do that.
Oh,
Because Kiel.
and also let me just.
Kiel Thomas asked, "Will the show be recorded to experience at different times?" So, yeah, we're answering that for you now to make sure that to let everybody know where they can tune in, because it's a virtual experience, right? And so we're streaming, so you can watch it anytime. You can watch them 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can just
That's right.
binge watch.
That's
You
the
can just
beauty of
binge.
it.
You can binge us.
That's right.
And our first, let me just say this: our first season is up at Affirmed TV, so you can watch the full episodes there. at Affirmed TV. Affirmed. And the reason why it's called Affirmed is because we really truly want to produce programming that affirms women in front of the camera and behind that camera. We're affirming women all day long. So thank you for that shout out.
And that's one reason why, LaVonda, I was so glad that you are.
Hello, Jewel?
That is one reason, LaVonda, why I was so glad that you're part of today's launch, Meet the Coast. I wanted people to see you and to know and to celebrate Black women doing big things. Even though you're behind the scenes, you are the engine. You are the vision. You are the trailblazer. You are the one that's making it happen. And so people can be inspired by what they're seeing before the camera, but also behind the camera. And they can see that we are positively pivoting during the pandemic. And I know that as the curve flattens, I look forward to us being in the studio, ladies, don't you?
Yay.
We can sit on the couch,
Yes.
chop it up, and just have a great time. But we're not letting anything stop us from moving forward and delivering a message of hope, blending together aspiration, inspiration, determination, healing, joy, faith, mind, body, spirit, whole body, joy, and that we are going to have victory. We're going to look back on this time and we're going to say, my God, we made it through. But in the meantime, we're going to focus on going from darkness to light. In our first episode next week, we're going to be talking about how do we deal with the grief? How do we deal with the sorrow, the heaviness, the heavy feelings that if we don't treat those things and talk about those things, they become heavy depression. They become a mental imbalance. They become a destroyer of our faith, our joy, our smiles, our destiny. And we're going to talk about that because that was the whole season 2 is about COVID-19 from darkness to light. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. And I'm excited that is the mandate that our producer has put on us. We're doing the research, we're studying, we're taking notes, we are teaching, and we are learning. We are showing you what sisterhood looks like. All across the world, we all are amazing. We are beautiful. We are dynamic. We are phenomenal. But we also sometimes have on some fake up, and we have to take off the fake up and say, you know what? I'm tired.
Go ahead.
You know what? This is getting on my nerves. You know what? The stress of the news. You know what? Being locked down with family for a long time. You know what? I'm eating out of control. You know what? I'm losing my mind. You know what? My faith has been really challenged and tested because I haven't been able to go to church. I haven't been a part of my faith community. So we've got to create community, and we're doing it virtually through the Blend Talk. Yeah. And I love it. I'm ready for the ride.
Awesome. So Dr. Karen, are you back in the States now, or are you still in
Do we have any more questions? Because
no, I'm still in Jamaica, Lisa.
Okay. I see some links. I see the YouTube links for the Blend Talk. So everybody, if you can see the chat, they're showing you where in the YouTube channels. They're showing where you can, because on the Firm TV, perfect. I see the Blend Talk, beautiful. Joy, yes. Johnny Taylor, the Blend live from Jamaica. And then Michelle Moorbell, great empowerment. I love it.
And teamwork makes the dream work.
Sharing, Joy. Yes, thank you. Share, like, follow, do everything you can. Spread the word. The key is making sure that if you know someone who needs this, someone who has been challenged, somebody who needs a word, please share with them, because you never know. One thing, they just get one little nugget. That one little nugget can change someone's life, and that's what we're hoping to do.
Absolutely.
Yes.
There was a time, Black women, we never even heard of the word empowerment or self-esteem or naturopath. And so we're teaching, we're exploring, we're sharing. We know we're not all the same. We know we don't all have the same religion or the same lifestyle, but there is something that is common, and that is because of the color of our skin. There are disparities, there are injustices, there are resources that we need to know about. There are things happening to us spiritually, mentally, and physically because of the hue, and we have to know how to address that so that we remain whole and happy and productive and strong and hopeful and resilient during this COVID-19. Every
Mm-hmm.
time I hear a discussion where people are living with fear and despair, it's like, we got to become warriors. We got to
Mm.
fight it. And the way you fight is with information. So not only are we living through a pandemic, but we're living through an infodemic. We're getting information from all different directions, and we have to have this, pray to God to have discernment to know what is it that I need in my particular situation, in my circumstances, so that I can not only survive this COVID-19, but I can thrive. I
Mm.
promise you, there's going to come a day that you're going to thank yourself that you did not give up. And I thank
Mm.
you, Lavonda Rouse, for trusting me. And I'm sure my co hosts feel the same way, that you have
Mm-hmm.
trusted us to be a part of this movement, to love on our sisters, to love
Yes.
on our community. This is
Yes.
so in alignment with who Dr. Jewel Diamond Taylor is. I'm
Mhm.
breathing this. I'm living this. I wake up thinking about this. I go to sleep thinking about it. I've written about it in over 9 books. I have traveled the world talking about it. And
Come on.
then Lavonda Rouse knocks on my door and says, "Come on, Jewel, and be a part of the movement." And I'll tell you, I'm like, "Yes, God, thank you."
Yep.
Because I know my purpose and I know I was born for this.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And can I add this, Jewel? You know, I always say this story. Jewel has been really truly walking this out for so long. I remember when I was in college in Tulsa, Oklahoma, at Oral Roberts University, I heard a woman come on the radio with this talk show that says, "I am Jewel Diamond Taylor."
Mm.
Ha! And that has stayed with me, Miss Taylor, from the time I heard it and at that time to now. So thank you for just doing it and staying with it, because so many people give up along the way, but I can honestly say you stayed with it. You've stuck it out, and I just appreciate you. And so when our paths were able to intersect, I should say,
Mhm.
I was just grateful. So thank you for saying yes. But
Well,
before we call it a night, will you walk us through the inhale exhale that we do at the end of every episode? Would you do that for us, because our time is nearing?
absolutely. Yeah. And that's and everyone, that's part of our program that we will always end with the inhale exhale, just really briefly to understand that when you talk about heavy situations and you're going through heavy times, the breath is challenged. And so we need to know about deep breathing. We need to understand the power of the breath. That's the first thing that happened when you came out of your mother's womb, is you were slapped so that you would take in the breath. And that's the word breath means spirit. So when we take in the spirit, we want to have deep breathing, not shallow breathing. So I want to talk to you about how to take a deep breath, and your shoulders should rise. And as you exhale, your shoulders should drop. And there should be some noise and some breath coming out, because Dr. Lisa and Dr. Karen will tell you that it's not only about the breath that is coming out, but pain is coming out, stress is coming out, disease is coming out. So let's do it one more time, and let your shoulders rise. Exhale. We do this at our retreats. We're going to do this at every show, just to get us centered again to whatever we talk about in the show that may trigger you, whatever's going on in your life. We want you to know that you can self dose. You can teach yourself how to breathe, let go. It's amazing how powerful the breath is, especially when we go all the way to the solar plexus and not just to the chest area. When you are stressed, when you're going through grief, and I know this about grief, you do very shallow breathing. And so it's
Mhm.
important. If you're feeling something right now because of the pandemic, I want you to take a deep breath. And let it out. And there may be tears that will come out. There may be grunts that are coming out. But if you do this and make it a practice every day to do some deep breathing, that is called self-care. Isn't it amazing that COVID-19 has attacked the lungs? Isn't
Mm.
that ironic? So we've been hearing that if you feel like you're dealing with COVID-19 or you're dealing with grief or sorrow, they're telling everybody you've got to protect your lungs. So this is the last one. Take a deep breath, let your shoulders rise. I am Dr. Jewel Diamond Taylor, and I represent the spirit.
And I'm Dr. Karen McGibbon, and I represent the mind.
And I'm Dr. Lisa Lewis, and I represent the body. And together,
Together, we are.
We are the Blend Talk.
talk.
Thank you, everybody. Please hit that share button, and we'll be with you next week, next Wednesday, Cinco de Mayo, May the 5th, 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 o'clock Eastern time. Please let your community know. And we will see you next week on the Blend Talk.
On top. Bye.
Bye.
Stay in the light.
Bye, everybody.